Hello everyone, how are you all? And welcome to the part 3 of the section of ecology, that is section 1 ecology. We are seeing the part 3 that will be related to physical and social factor contributing to crop what production, and one more thing is there, right? Crop distribution and production. Right. See, what we are trying to do is we are completely coming to the topic, what is it, and we are just having a look and what all the things which we have to remember. These are all very general things which we are reading. Like till now, we have read that ecology and its relevance to man. Now we know the definition of ecology. We have studied in such a way that we understand few keywords now. We don't only we everyone can understand this, but very few can understand the keyword. Very few can retain the keyword. So we are trying to retain the keyword. Everyone knows that what the importance of environment to man. But do we know some important keywords? Yes, conservation, resource allocation, energy conservation, eco-friendliness. You are understanding that we have the keywords now on our tips. This you will only appreciate if you are connecting with me, otherwise you will not be able to appreciate. Second part, we saw about what did we see? We saw about uh, as far as I remember, it was about, just wait, I am trying to recollect because I also do active recalling here. I am not seeing somewhere else. I am also trying to do active recalling. आपको याद आ गया होगा, I understand, but I am able to recall it. That was related to natural resources, right? Natural resources. Now we have natural resources, but we have to sustainable manage it, and we have to conserve it. In this we have saw water, land, forest, energy, and how we can sustainably use it and how we can conserve it. Different government strategies we were able to see. In today's part, we will see about physical and social factors contributing to crop distribution and production. That means crop distribution. For crop distribution, what are the physical factors? Important keyword is, what are the physical factors? What do you mean by physical? We are trying to we are trying to brainstorm what is the meaning of this part of this syllabus. Physical factors of crop distribution, how crop is distributed and what are the physical factors. Again, physical factors of crop production. Then social factors of crop distribution, social factors of crop production. So we have mainly four things to understand in this topic. First of all, let's see what are all the PYQs asked in this particular topic. Now they have asked that illustrate with, just wait, illustrate with examples the abiotic components in the ecosystem. That means it is a physical factor. Now the physical factor we studied about biotic and abiotic. An abiotic component is influencing crop growth. We can say the crop production. This has been asked. Indian farmers usually choose crops, their varieties based on their socio-economic aspects. That means they are asking about our social environment and resources at their disposal. Critically commented. Right, different element of weather affecting, that means physical factor. So physical factor, what we are understanding from understanding the PYQs is that physical factors is including our environment, and environment includes climate and weather, and this further includes temperature and rainfall, humidity, wind, etc., but majorly temperature and rainfall. And under this environment also we can come under abiotic components, that is temperature and rainfall, and biotic components, that is soil and other things. I hope you are understanding this. So we will try to understand these from KB's and other evolution notes maybe, or somebody else notes which are which generally people follow. So we will try to see it. Now the physical factors which affects the crop distribution and production are basically categorized as a first physical factor is climate. Just see what I am teaching you. Don't see anywhere else. So climate, under climate, what do you see? Temperature. Some places will have high temperature, like the regions near equator are southern India. Some areas will have altitude and their temperature will be comparatively low. Some areas will have excessive rainfall more than 100 200 centimeter. Some will have 50 to 75 centimeter. Growing seasons are different, wind systems are different. So basically A, B, C, D, E, five components under climate we have to check. So first physical, you can say that climate affects the crop distribution and production. Second factor is soil. What kind of soil is there? Used study in geography about 6 to 7 kind of soil. For cotton soil, you need regular soil, that is black soil, yellow soil, alluvial soil, laterite soil, mountainous soil, desert soil. We will utilize this knowledge here. Slope, we can understand physical factor is slope. Fourth physical sector if factor is of human. Under human, we can have the land tenure, how much land we have, the market connection, the transportation, capital, how much capital we are making. And we are not making, we are investing. Technical know-how comes under the physical factor only. It also affects crop distribution and production. More technology we'll use, more crop production will be able to do. More crop distribution will be there. Government initiatives which makes the agricultural business a profitable business to the farmers. Their initiatives will see in different manner. So these are the physical factors which we have to look. Now let's go to Bukhara's. Just wait. Yes. What he has written is, see, this is a very generic line. Man's agricultural activities depend on the physical environment in which he lives. Although he has often tried to minimize the restriction imposed by natural condition, as rightly put forward that special field, nothing is important. यहाँ देखो आप, physical environment plays a very important role in agriculture. ये हमें पता ही है. It includes, क्या include करता है? Relief, plain area, mountainous area. कौन सा area, कैसा area? That will be told by, that will be highlighted by relief. Drainage system, climate we have seen, soil we will see, water resources. All these factors are affecting the growth of distribution of crops. Growth, that means production, and distribution of crops in a particular area. First of all, we'll see climate. Temperature. Most plants cannot grow if the temperature fall below 6 degrees Celsius. Generic information, or the soil is frozen 5 consecutive months. सो जैसे एज अ कॉन्सेप्ट मैनी एरियाज आर अनसुटेबल फॉर क्रॉपिंग्स. ठीक है. राइस के लिए मिनिमम टेम्परेचर 10 to 32, वीट के लिए मिनिमम 4.5, मेज के लिए 8 to 10, सोरगम 40. यू आर सीइंग ऑप्टिमम टेम्परेचर इज दिस, मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर इज दिस. You can remember only these three: rice, wheat, maize. Wheat is rabi, you know, in winters we sow it, so it can go up to 4.5. Remember rice is kharif 10, maize is 8 to 10. Rice and maize are kharif. Second is the growing season, the number of days between the last frost of the spring and the first of the autumn. Not important, this point is not important, leave it. Altitude, this affects temperature, so it also affects farming. That means it affects farming, that means it affects crop production and distribution. If the temperature is consistently high with high sufficient precipitation, high yield crops such as rice can be grown. Rainfall, obviously it is a key factor for plant growth. Rice is the principal crop in tropics because it requires substantial quantity of water. So where there is irrigation facilities or the water resources are good, their crop production will be obviously good. Crop distribution will be good. If the most of the crop is dependent on rainfall, then it is dependent erratically on monsoon and all. Wind. Wind can have a destructive effect on crops. At the most severe, a hindrance can physically destroy thousands of acres of farmland. Less severe but also harmful are the winds. Okay? So wind should be moderate, not excessively like severe hurricanes type. It will destroy the produce. Second factor is soil. Soil type will influence crop cultivation because different crops prefer different soils. Clay soils and their high water retention are well suited to rice, while sandy soils with good drainage are good for root vegetables. As it is, we will learn it that clay soils with high water retention in characteristics they are good for rice, but sandy soil with good irrigation facilities are good for root vegetables. Remember these two things. Examples are important, otherwise you will write a generic answer. So for clayey soil, we have good rice, and for sandy soil, we have good root vegetable. Soil type can be influenced through the input of lime, clay, and fertilizer, but this can only make limited differences. Third is slope. The angle of slope will affect the type, depth, moisture content of the soil. It will also affect the rate of soil erosion. The need to cultivate such steep slope is a consequence of population pressure and a very small farm due to generation of subdividing among sun. So the angle of slope will affect the type, depth, and moisture of content of the soil. So steeper the slope is, steeper will be soil erosion, steeper will be the hold of soil. It is mainly affected in mountainous region. So it will affect the rate of soil erosion. Rate of soil erosion will increase. You are understanding? So this is the problem in. So this factor is affecting the crop production in mountainous regions. You can give example of this. Also, if you want to go ahead and see that mountainous regions low production is because of this slope factor. Also, this is the physical factor we are talking about. Now this physical factor is connected with the social factor. Obviously, when crop production will be less, the farmers will have less to sell, and automatically their socio-economic condition will be low. Fourth will be human land tenure. Under human land tenure means in the developed world, a large percentage of farmers are owner occupiers. That means they itself had the land. Consequently, they have large incentive to become more efficient, improve land and buildings. But here there is something else. In developing world, farmers are less likely to owner occupiers, and we use tenants instead laborers we use. Instead, they will be probably be tenants or landless laborers. So there are no incentive involved for them to work harder for the efficiency. They just care about their monthly wages or weekly wages or daily wages. Market. For any commercial farm to succeed, there must be a demand. Right? If the demand for a crop drops, the profit will fall. The crop will then be replaced a more profitable one. So market should be a one factor. Physical factor comes under the human factor. Condition in the marketplace can be a consequence of numerous factors. Suppose society is changing, they move towards vegetarianism or panic about beef. Health reason, increased demand for olive oil or panic about beef. Health scars, the BSC crisis or panic about beef. Religion, Jews do not eat pork. Marketing, so are you understanding how marketing can influence people? Like in today's time, uh, lemon is getting expensive. People are shifting from lemon. Its rate are further increasing, but demand is decreasing. So it will ultimately affect the supply price that farmers will get. I hope you are all understanding this. This is not a very major topic which we have to delve into, but just see the keywords. Transport. Transport is an important factor in determining location of farm types. So crop distribution, if we say, it is one important factor, the transport. If a product is bulky such as potatoes, then it should be grown close to the marketplace to cut down on transport cost. If the good is perishable, then grown closer to the market. So transportation should be kept in mind. If the good is perishable, close to the market. If good is bulky, close to the market. Like products like cotton can be grown in far away places. Next, we will study about the capital. Developed world, there is a well-established system of supportive banks. That is credit agencies are good. Private investors, government subsidies. This means that agriculture is likely to be capital intensive and highly mechanized. So for developed world you will use only two words. You have to remember only capital intensive and highly mechanized. Nothing else. Cereal growing and dairy farming are good examples. In the developing world, the systems of capital support are less developed. In addition, farmers have little capital of their own. Borrowing is difficult. So developing world, the key is capital support is not good. Capital, it is not capital intensive. Farmers have little capital of their own. Borrowing is difficult because they don't have the sufficient land. Plus, they don't have the produce which they can store for longer time because they don't have those storage facilities. Therefore, the farm will be very labor intensive, not capital intensive. So for developed world, you will use capital intensive and highly mechanized. For don't one apart from this, don't speed up the video. Just listen it to the normal mode because I am already speaking fast. So second, if you talk about the developing world, we will talk about labor intensive. So capital, if when you will talk about physical factors and you will put capital heading, then you have to talk about that developed countries are capital intensive and developing countries are labor intensive. Technology. New technology is always increasing efficiency and yields, but technology costs money. So therefore, the gap between the developed and developing world is growing. The one exception is green revolution. The green revolution spread throughout much of the developing world, and these new yield high crops, particularly, became a common feature of agriculture. Very easy point to understand. They did increase the need for irrigation and agrochemicals. If you are not understanding any point, just pause the video and read yourself. You will understand it. They did increase the need for irrigation and agrochemicals. Yes, that were costly for small farmers and large farmers. So only farmers who can afford it were able to do it. So that's why we can see the socio-economic divide in farming also in Green Revolution. That only Punjab, Haryana, and UP farmers could able to do it. Other marginalized farmers were not able to do it. Government policies will have a direct or indirect effect on the prevalent agricultural system, either direct or indirect. So with a five-fold increase in food grain production from 50 million tons जो 1950 में हुआ करता था to about 250, that means five-fold increase in 2014. India has moved away from dependence on food. Earlier we were dependent on food aid. Now we have become a net food exporter. Very good line here. You can use it at any time in the introduction. So our agriculture sector is booming and we have to make it boom. But this profit share should also reach to the farmers, the real producers of food, not to the land laborers or not to the intermediaries, right? Let's move ahead. They seek to remove bottlenecks for greater agricultural productivity, especially in rain-fed areas. They include National Food Security Mission. We have National Food Security Mission 2013, in which what 25 kilo of rice, wheat, and pulses will be distributed per person, person of family, per family, free of cost at this rate, at a very nominal rate, 1 rupees, 2 rupees, or 5 rupees, something like this. They have Rashtra Krishi Vikas Yojana. They have integrated schemes on oilseed, pulses, palm oil. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana for insurance. We have ENAM, e-marketplace. The government has also taken significant steps to combat under and malnutrition, Poshan Abhiyan. Right, you can write about all this. So here it is given physiological factors. Topography is the nature of surface of the earth, that is relief can come under it. It was under climate. Increase in altitude cause a decrease in temperature, increase in precipitation and wind velocity. It result in runoff, steepness of slope. We have studied this. Socio-economic factors में what you have to remember: society inclination to farming and members available for cultivation. Appropriate choice of crops by human beings to satisfy the food and fodder requirement of a farmer. Breeding varieties by human invention for increasing yield or pest and disease resistance crop. The economic conditions of the farmer greatly decide the input resource mobilizing ability. So economic condition कैसी है farmers की, that will decide the input we are putting, right? So what all we have seen that climate as a physical factor is affecting the crop production and distribution. Like you have seen that if temperature is high, or in the suitable optimal temperature we have and rainfall condition is good, then production will be high and its distribution will be good. Likewise, rainfall and slope we have understood. Second factor we saw about soil. Third factor we saw about what? Human. In human we saw about land type and market system. Technology, we see how technology is important for it. What else we saw? Government initiatives, we saw how physical environment they are affecting. So this was mentioned in KBs. Now let's see some other note. So in this PDF they have given about physical and social factors which we were reading for crop distribution and production. They have also included the next section, that is crop pattern as indicator of environment. We will deal it with the next part. Leave it this now. First we will focus on this. So for crop growth, two factors matters, that are internal factors, that is the crop internal mechanism, which is basically genetic and heredity, and external factors, which include climatic, which we have seen, that comes under abiotic, biotic factors, we will see edaphic factors, we will see physiographic factors, socioeconomic factors. So basically they have told us about five factors, but in the syllabus we have to know about physical and social factors only, but we will see these five factors so that we can have a better understanding. Internal factors में क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Genetic factors, the increase in crop yields and other desirable characters are related to genetic makeup of plants. ये हम सबको पता है. So high yielding ability, do the plants have the high yielding ability? Early maturity period, do the plants have this? Resistance to lodging, tolerance to insect and pests, we have BT cotton for it. Drought, flood and salinity tolerance, Pokali type of rice varieties. Pokali where? Kerala. Chemical composition of grains, quality of grains, quality of straw sweetness, chonsa of mango and ricey in juicy pulp. The above characters are less influenced by environmental factors since they are governed by genetic makeup of crops. So what you will say? Quality, chemical composition, drought tolerance, resistance, early maturity, pest tolerance are because of this genetic factors. They are not influenced by the outer factors. Now the climate factors, nearly 50% of the yield is attributed to the influence of climatic factors. If the climatic factors are great, then the crop yield will be 50% higher. If they are bad, then it can be lower. So climatic factors, precipitation, it's very important. Highly unevenly distributed rainfall areas, crops like rice in plains, tea versus low, and uneven distribution of rainfall, drought resistance crop like pearl millet, sorghum and are grown. जहाँ पर uneven and low distribution है वहाँ पर we go for pearl millet, sorghum, minor millets. In desert areas we go for grasses, shrubs. Though all the rainfall has major influence on the yield of crops, yields are not always directly proportional to the amount of precipitation. Distribution of rainfall is more important than total rainfall to have longer period, especially in drylands. In temperature, to temperature we will see the range of temperature for maximum growth of most of the agriculture plants is between 15 to 40 degrees Celsius. The range of a place is largely determined by its distance from the equator and altitude, right? You can make this chart for temperature, it will give you a right, you can say rice, directly write rice. Low temperature, we have seen this. Atmospheric humidity, you can see this high relative humidity, particularly at night, is the main criteria of powdery mildew infection to develop. So there should not be high relative humidity. Solar radiation, phototropism, response of plants to light direction, photosensitive season bound varieties, right? Wind velocity, you can see. Atmospheric gases on plant growth. CO2 important for photosynthesis, CO2 taken by plants, CO2 is returned to atmosphere. Now we will see the edaphic factors. These are new factors for us. Edaphic factors include soil moisture. Importance of soil water already covered in soil science. We have seen. We will see this soil science. High soil water, paddy, sugar cane. Low soil water, pulse and millets. Soil air. All right, edific factors, they talk about soil moisture, soil air, soil temperature. So edific factors, they are talking about soil only, soil mineral matter, soil organic matter, soil organisms, soil reaction. In biotic factors, they are talking about beneficial and harmful effects caused by other biological organisms that are plants and animals on the crop plants. So plants can behave as competitive and complementary in nature. Competition between weed and crop plants are as parasites. Animals, pollinators, bee wasps, decomposers, fungi, bacteria, invertebrates, pest, white grub in groundnut. Other animals also affect crop like nilgai, monkey. Physiographic factors, topography, altitude, steepness of slope, exposure to light, orientation, these are physiographical. Socioeconomic factors, labor availability, do we have cheap labor availability? Market, do we have market based distance? Infrastructure, farm size, farm economic conditions. Social condition, religion in tobacco. Punjab tobacco cultivation is not extensive. Caste and customs, Gujarat versus West Bengal, despite coastline fish. Literacy level, technological development, mechanization. Political factors is also one of the factor. High MSP, same with sugar pricing policy. High amount of subsidy in protected cultivation promoting in Western India. See, these are the laws you have to, these are the factors you have to keep in mind, right? All right, guys, if you are seeing it, this is these some of the contents are not that important. Here we will have just seen the physical factors, and physical factors we have divided into climate, physiographic, soil, technology, and different factors we have divided it. Not that much important. You can write the general answer. Social economic factors, availability, farm size, and all you have to mention about, nothing big deal about it, right? Next part we will see important part, that is we will see the crop distribution, crop, or we'll see the next part. Just tune into it, right? All right, guys, thank you.